Now we can hear you, he said.
All right. There's your. Uh, all right. Let's wait for a minute and let people jump on. This will be a moment of guitar tuning. We'll do. Can y'all hear that guitar? Hello, everyone. We're live on, looks like Facebook, YouTube, and then we're back here in the Campout. So if you have anything posted in the Campout, otherwise we're just gonna go. I can kind of see the chat. I'll take a peek at it every once in a while, and I should have Hallie on there that's keeping an eye on it. Oh, I got Cozy with me tonight. Say hello,
Hi.
Cozy.
Wanted to join him tonight.
All right. All right. So what we're doing tonight, everyone. Hello, everyone. So I have a new double album coming out, and we're doing a limited release. We're calling it a camp out. And I would be camping out, but I couldn't get the live stuff working out in the forest. And I tried, and it just was not working. And so we're in the city tonight. But still, there's going to be lots of camp out stuff going on this week. And Cozy's joining me because Cozy was a huge part of this album. She's all over this, and she'll be, if you're in the back end of the camp out portal, there's going to be lots of content with Cozy. We did some live performances the other night. We tried to act like we weren't sweating to death. I didn't mean for
doing
the.
That right now too.
And we're doing that right now too because this house is not much better in August in Texas, and I didn't plan for it to land in August. This was supposed to happen sometime in summer, but not in August. You shouldn't do anything in August in Texas, and so it kind of landed there. But so I have a double album, and it's called Mornings and Midnights. Let me see if I can add an image of it here. This is all very new to me, this live stuff. I think you can see it here. There it goes. There it is. And, this is it's a very special event for me because I think this will land at like album 13 or 14 that I've done. And when I came around to make it, I was just in this real busy time of life and just snowed under. Like I couldn't even look at my guitar. And so I had to like reorganize my life to come and make this album. I just finished one called We Were Wild. And I had been working on a trilogy for I don't know how many years from You to We Were Wild. Is that like 6-7 years?
Yeah.
So I've been in this
Over.
track of making a trilogy of albums, thinking about the same thing, talking about the same thing. And when it came time to make this album, I was like, enough of these rules and stuff. I want to just have fun. And what I ended up doing during this time to make this is I switched my routine at some point when this album was brewing from midnights. I used to be a guy that just stayed up nights and recorded and then went to work all sleepy and everything, to mornings. And so it's part of the reason why I call it Midnights and Mornings. Is midnights on this album, if you see the blue one there, those are songs that came from a year during a divorce that me and my wife had that, thank God we made it through it and worked things out. But I wrote an album. I started writing an album. These were kind of scraps. And at the end of that that year, when we got back together and we decided to work things out, I just stuffed them in a drawer and I didn't even want to think about them anymore. And so I just put them away and I forgot. And when I finished We Were Wild, I was kind of looking around for the next thing to work on. I was writing some songs and I just happened to open it up and see that hard drive and listen to these songs. And I just felt like this was the time to do that. And while I was doing that, I started getting all these new songs about life right now, about what's going on in my life now and family and stories that, I just really was enjoying. And so I just said, I'm going to go ahead and make both of them at the same time because I couldn't put Morning is the other album.
It was going to be one album.
It was going to be one album for a long time. And I kept like adding songs and your mom was like, those don't go together. That's like two whole different worlds. The Midnight album is a little bit of a darker feel to it. I'd say some sad kind of beauty going on. And then Morning was a whole different feeling to it. Mm-hmm. So eventually she's the one, because I was just making this album that didn't make a lot of sense. It's like, feeling good, singing about being in the band. And then suddenly we're singing about missing you on the next track. And so at some point I just decided to split them off and make these two albums. And a little practice I started in this era was just going off into the woods. And you can kind of see our woods here. Let me see where that picture is here. Oh, I have to remove this. There it is. There's cozy out there. Going off into the woods in the morning. And this is hard because you're sitting over there. I guess I'm talking to folks here.
Oh, you're talking.
Going out into the morning, early in the morning before the sun would go up is when I would start my days. And there's a lot of pressures in my life, new pressures. And I just decided, I need a time where nothing is expected of me. This is a serious year. Both my kids got married that year. Y'all made it hard on me. And I'm making this double album. And I just needed a time in my life where nothing was expected of me. And so I grabbed a journal and I just went off in the woods in the morning, started a fire and just would sit there, not really expect anything out of myself. And sometimes I'd write, sometimes I'd draw. And, over time, that just became the routine of my mornings. And then I had all this energy when I went to work, and I would start with music early in the morning and just do a little bit, do what I could before I had to hit the job. And it just energizes my entire day all the way through my nights to allow myself a time to do nothing. And a lot of it was getting away from the digital life and the phone and the eternal scrolling on the phone. And so I had to I found ways to physically remove myself from the digital life. I had a phone jail.
You couldn't open it.
I literally.
You need one too.
I got her a phone jail too, but you
I
didn't.
have it in my closet. I
didn't
still
use
used
it.
it.
Yeah. So the phone jail is you put your phone in there. I actually got one for my laptop too. And you put a timer on it and you can't get it out until the time's up. So I would go at night at like 7 at night or after work. I'd put my phone in there and set the timer for the next day at like 9 a.m. And so I just literally couldn't get my phone out of there, but you could answer people. So it's like this big thing. You could pick it up and you could stick your finger in there like, hello, like answer the phone. So I had like a phone jail. At one time, this is before this album. This was during when We Were Wild. I threw my phone away and I went phoneless. I had a hard line and I went phoneless for about 2 years. Sometime in there, I got a little like dumb phone and I had that, but I kept losing it because what's weird with a phone is if you're not scrolling on it, you don't really think about it. So I was leaving it everywhere I went. And so this was, like I was still dealing with this when Morning and Midnight started. And that was 24 with just kind of how do I, get my own life away from all this digital noise. And I didn't expect, that's all I was really trying to do is kind of get some peace of mind in the morning. But I didn't expect that it would like resurrect my drawing, which I don't know. I've maybe sketched a little bit in my life, but I was a big drawer when I was young. I would draw mainly cartoons. I don't think I was that great, but I would draw cartoons, learn from my dad some of his styles. I did go to Arts Magnet.
He was really good. You were
And
really good.
well, I didn't think I was that great. It's mostly cartoons. When you draw cartoons, you don't think you're
I
that
think it was only
great. But I gave that up early in my life. And what's weird, during this time, I started picking it back up and found this new joy for drawing and a whole new like expression of my art and drawing. And that's turned out to be the covers of the albums. And I've done like art prints, and the book has some stuff I'll talk about in a bit. And then I was, I've always liked poetry, and I've written some poetry. I even have a little book over there that I wrote. But like most people, most songwriters, or most people I've ever talked to, you don't really know poetry. Like you don't know the forms of poetry. And I was reading poetry when I would go out into the woods sometimes, like Robert Frost. And I realized, there's some form to what he's doing. Some of them were kind of had the same rhythm to them and cadence. And so I decided during this time that I wanted to like learn poetry, like learn the different forms of poetry. So I forced myself to write 20 poems in each form. And I got through maybe like 6 or 7. I got to the epic, and that's when it was time to put the book out. And that turned into a book, which is right here. I'm not just showing off all my stuff here. And this book is a lot of the poetry, a lot of the, I call them like little inspirational writings, because when I was making this album, it was like I was wanting to give up. Probably about every 2 days, I'd throw an artist fit.
He did.
Do you know
True.
Do you know what an artist fit is?
Yep.
I've seen you like.
I was laying on that kitchen floor right over there.
You can't see it.
You can't see it right now, but
That's
I would just come lay on the floor because my art wasn't working out, or a song wasn't working out, or I just felt like I sucked.
Yeah.
Or my work went to nothing.
You have to use your microphone.
Oh yeah, sorry. I use my microphone. Also, one thing about his book is whenever he wrote it and got it printed, I just for some reason didn't read it for the first, I don't even know, 2 months. And then all of a sudden, I have this little, I don't know, dish on my bed that I keep on the edge of my bed to put like my special books. And I put that there, and I was having a really rough day. And I just said a prayer and picked up that book, opened it up, and it was just this one poem in there. I don't know what it's called, but it was...
Be Not Ever Known.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be Not Ever Known. And so I recommend reading that one for sure, if any of them, because that one just, I read it like 20,000 times that night. And now I read it almost every night before I go to sleep. So.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I might read the same poem, but I go over it and I'll read it.
Man, yeah. That's something we did. And I don't know how much your memories are of this, but I wanted my kids to read. And because when they were, oh, my wife just said, they can't see you. Oh, there we go. So I wanted my kids to read because about the time you were born, really the time Noah was born, my son, and then when you were coming in, it was even worse, was this kind of digital takeover of especially children. Like it went from, trips with the children, and then you would see kids like instead of sitting back there. Okay, we got the picture working. It'll come back up. My wife is, thank you, hon. Thank you. So, I went to kids watching the iPad in the back, and I actually have this memory of when we went to the beach, and I went out, and I guess you weren't there. This is when I went and played down there in Floribama. And on the way back, I was going to grab a bite, and I stopped at this restaurant, and I was kind of people watching, and this couple with their son sat down at this table across from me, and here we are. The beach is like right there, and there's beautiful shrimp on the table, and I just looked at that couple, and they were on their phones, and the kid was on their phone, and I started getting like nervous, like are they going to talk or anything? It's like I was like feeling this kind of panic of this family that they were going to sit here. They're on vacation. They all had their little vacation clothes on, and they're sitting there all three looking at their phones. And it just made me really sad. And so when you were born, I felt this kind of hurricane of digital world coming in. And so I was like, I want them to like learn to love to read early on. And so we did read at night together. But what I did for both of my kids is I wrote them novels that had them as the characters, because I thought if you're the character, you're going to be gripped by everything. And y'all were. And poor Noah, my son, I wrote his first novels were horror stories. And so he said he was.
They were my favorite books when I was younger.
he was absolutely terrified. And so, but they each have their own books, and Possession of Stars is one that I wrote for her, which we made a song of later called Misty Girl. That's on the Cozy and a Flounder stuff. And so, well, that's just neat. That just brings me back to, you like reading, but you probably like reading my stuff a lot because you grew up. I had you like grow up listening, reading my dysfunctional writing and my music. Yeah, and listening to my music. So I had a built-in fan, make my kids my fans. But and I think I was talking. The thing is that, like, I didn't mean to write this book. It all kind of came out during making this album because I was just struggling, as I always do. Albums take me a long time to make, and there's like a fight all through it. The artist little pity parties. And I remember, Hallie, my wife's an artist, and you're an artist, so sometimes different ones of us are having our little artist breakdown.
I had one yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, and then I went to the bookstore and decided I need to start reading again, so that's funny. Picked out 2 books.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's what it is I found the only cure was to be quiet, and not keep packing my mind with information and even solutions, but kind of let go of everything. And, reading for enjoyment, especially, is just sitting down and kind of letting go of all these expectations. Because there's a funny thing that happened the other day. So I was in this kind of getting ready for this thing. I've never done a live anything. Well, I think I did one time live on my iPhone. So I was all just frustrated as all get out. And so she told me, I think this was last Sunday, is like, today you're doing nothing. This was two Sundays ago. Nothing at all. You don't get to do anything. I was like, can I watch a movie? She said, if it's really old, you can watch it. If it's like from the 30s or the 20s, you can watch that. That's all. Can't do anything else. And so I took her advice as medicine because I needed it, because I'd just been going. I mean, since this album has come out, it's been done. And I sat there, I watched a movie, but I was too bored to watch the movie. I kept looking for my phone, and I had stashed it away so I couldn't use it. And I would just sit there, put on a different movie and get bored of that one, and put on a different movie, like I was trying to scroll through my TV or something. And then finally I was just so bored, I turned off the movie. And this is like halfway through the day. It's like 3:00. And I'm just wandering around, walking through the house, going outside and walking, coming back in. And finally I just sit on the couch, just like, this is horrible. I'm just so bored. And I looked at my guitar and I picked it up. And within like 30 minutes, I had a finished song. It just like poured out of me. And so it reminded me, and this is something we know, is that I have to create this space in my life for creativity to happen. She's picky. She's not going to come like you're scrolling like, hey, blah, 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 blah. Oh, here's a song for you. No, she's like, you're all mine,
I know, actually, I've struggled with that lately, because I'm in a different stage of my life where I haven't been able to do as much art or music. It's just focusing on my training I'm a Pilates instructor, and so I'm in a lot of training right now. And so I have been like studying all day, and then I pick up my guitar. I'm like, why can't I write a song right now? And it's like my creativity, I just haven't given her any love or anything. So that's something I definitely want to work on, and it's kind of comes in waves, and I try not to beat myself up. But for now, I even thought I just need that still time of reading a book for enjoyment. So that's one thing I'm going to do to get back into my creativity. Yeah.
I think of it like my wife, if I'm like busy and I've got, and I like pencil in like 2 hours to hang out with her, and I'll come in and be like, okay, we got a few hours. Let's hang out. Let's have fun. Come on. You wanted this. You wanted to hang out. And she doesn't want anything to do with that. She's like, you just go off. She wants like no end time, no beginning time. She just wants to be with me. And, creativity is like that. You've got to kind of open up to allow the time that it's needed. And that's something I remember talking, because what's neat about having a daughter that writes songs is we get to talk about it a lot. And I don't like talking about it with a lot of people. But we've gone through like a lot of issues, and this one's kind of the one I talk about, where when you get that idea, you got to stop everything. And like even today, I've got to be up early in the morning. If I get a song at 10 o'clock when I'm going to bed, I've got to grab the song. And so it's kind of like I'm working for the song
Yeah.
because I just know that just through experience that if I leave that little moment of inspiration and think that I'm going to have it the next day, or if it's usually if I start a song, I need to take it as far as it wants to go that night at that moment. If I've even been here and we're watching a movie and I've just got an idea and I'm like, I'm sorry, you guys, I got to go do it. And we all allow each other to do that.
Well, yeah, whenever I was little and just growing up, my bedtime was like 9 o'clock, which I didn't always follow it.
Yeah.
But it was 9 o'clock, I think. And the only time that I was really allowed to just stay up as late as I wanted was when I'm like, y'all, I'm working on a song.
Yeah.
Like, I got to get this song out. And then I could stay up till 3 in the morning and he wouldn't be mad at me or anything. I mean, you wouldn't get mad at me, but you would just be like, cuz.
Yeah.
But with that, you were proud of me for it. And if I came to you with the song in the morning, I couldn't just cheat and say that because I would have to show you the song in the morning.
Yeah.
So,
I'd have to hear the song in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a story of, I don't know who this was, but it was a poet it was a poet who talked about that the muse moves past you. And if you don't grab it, she said one time it just passed me and I reached back and grabbed it and the poem came out backwards when I pulled it out. It's almost like you really have to seize that opportunity. Some of my greatest songs were written in the like most inopportune times in my life, written when I really needed to go to sleep or, I do a lot of songwriting in the morning now. And even then I've got a deadline. And so that's like the most inopportune. I'll have a meeting or something and I do have to put it down sometimes, but I go right back to it and kind of, it's not that I have to finish it. I just have to find that stopping place where she's like, okay,
yeah,
for now go digest it.
Yeah, you just do like little clips and it's not a song. You have to be able to hear the vision.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something, with this album was just allowing that space in my life again to just have fun. I've always been like driven for the album to be something, a part of some theme I was doing. I don't know. It's all my fault. But this one was just, in a way, just for me to have fun, to explore a lot of ideas that I had.
You can hear it too.
That don't actually maybe go with each other. I thought they didn't at the time. And explore ways of recording. I like recorded without headphones, which I've wanted to do forever since I saw a Beatles book of them. I got this Beatles book from my stepfather, Renee, that had different setups for the Beatles. And one of them, you can clearly see they have no headphones on. They're singing into the same mics, but they use this kind of side speaker and then a figure 8 mic. I won't go into the details of it. But anyways, I wanted to try that. And I did that quite a bit on this album. So it's like live in the room recording. And because I wanted that life to come out. I feel like I crush that sometimes when I have so much time with an album. I could just edit, redo. And this, I didn't want to give myself that option. So I like set up rules that it had to be a full performance from the beginning to the end, and stuff like that. What was your recording experience on this thing?
It was very spastic. It was random more than ever. Even more random than when we did it in my closet years ago, because I would just get back. Like I said, I've been in training and it's been really just this past year and a half. And so I'd get back from working all day or doing something. And he'd be like, hey, do you have like 10 minutes? Let's just knock this song out. Not 10 minutes, but like an hour.
Yeah.
And so in an hour, we just get one song or sometimes even just half of a song. And then the next day, and this is when we were living on the same land, I would just run in and be like, hey, I can do 2 hours. Let's try to get a song out. And so it was just kind of choppy and random. And before, I feel like we would plan it out more, or it was more relaxing. It's like, let's spend the night doing this, or let's spend the afternoon. And this time it was like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so it was just, but I really did enjoy it because I had to just be creative right on the spot. I didn't know the songs. I didn't know, I've only heard them play them around me. I didn't know the lyrics. And so sometimes I'd be holding the lyrics in front of me while I'm singing, and we didn't even know what I should do, but I would just figure it out in an hour. And we'd really kind of, before we'd take like 10,000 takes, and it was just like, oh, I don't know. And then we'd usually go back to like the first one. And this time we didn't have time for that. And so we really just had to do what we had.
I became like a stalker during this album. I'd like watch, because my daughter lived about 30 feet from my door, but she's super busy. This is the year she got married and she started studying for Pilates. And so I would like see her car drive up and like run up. Hey, can you like give me like a bum on the street? Hey, give me like, an hour of recording today. Because I really wanted you on this album.
Yeah.
And I think, it's like I was saying with songwriting, I don't believe in the pressure cooker. A song needs to take all the time in the world that it needs. Actual creating the album and like this music video you just saw, Baby Love, I believe in the pressure cooker there. Kind of like commit to things. When you go in the studio, go in there to work. You're not making, a demo. You're not trying things out. You're not trying out mics. You're not trying out this guitar or that. You're going in there and you're going to pick up a guitar and you're going to make the album. And when you do that and you have a deadline, something about that causes, I think, intuitive decisions to come out. You have to like depend on your intuition. Now, I thought we had like weeks and weeks and we could just sit there and ponder the ideas, like, I don't know, I should try this. I don't think you have to reach into that intuition the same way if you've got an hour. And then I don't know if I'm going to see you for another 3 or 4 days and I've got to, work on this more. And so we've got to get it down. Yeah. And to me, that's a way that I work. Even like music videos, it's like pressure cookers. Like everybody gets in a room and we figure stuff out while we're there. And it always seems to be, it's always scary. It's very scary because you're afraid you're not going to get anything. But things come out of it that I just never would have thought of in planning. In planning's good. Like the basics, are all planned out. But I don't want to like plan in every detail of anything. Not an album, not a video,
Mm-hmm. I will say, if this was like, this isn't my first album that I've ever done. If this would have been like the first album we did, that wouldn't have been possible. I did realize this time that I'm like, okay, all the work I've done has paid off because I can like get up there and record something. Before it was like this one where we'd be like, la, la, la. No, that wasn't good. And I listened to it, I start crying. I'm like, oh my God, I sound awful. And so we'd have to just work on like the same lyric for like an hour. And so I will say time did help with that.
You go, whoever's watching, go watch or listen to the Family Songbook album, which is her first album. Mm-hmm. That was incredibly painful to make that with you. Do you know, if you've ever sang like in the shower when you were young and you just thought you were so awesome and beautiful, and then you sang into a tape recorder and played it back and went, that's not me. This is what we went through. It was like the first time.
Laying on the kitchen floor.
She grew up with her mom telling her, oh, you sing so great. And you do. And you had a natural thing, but you'd never like sat and listened to yourself. And so we went through this whole process of her like getting over the trauma of actually hearing what you actually sound like on tape.
Trauma.
And it was,
I can't believe I got through it.
I would say most of the sessions were just crying sessions.
Yeah.
And you're young. How old were you, do you think?
12.
Probably 12.
Yeah. 12, 13.
Yeah.
I decided after that I was going to get into voice lessons, though. I had taken a little bit, but after that I was like, okay, because I had that cursive thing going on a little bit, like the Grace Vanderwall. No offense to her or anything, but I can't do it. And so I just had to find my own voice. But he helped me a little bit on there. I didn't sound like bad or anything, I feel like. But it took like thousands of tries.
The cursive thing. So I didn't know what that was called. I was always like, I'd hear stuff, I'm an older dude, and I would hear this music coming out, and I was like, Cozy, it's strange. Everybody has a lisp nowadays, singing or something or some weird. And she said, that's cursive. And what is cursive?
Cursive is almost when you're trying to sound British and you're not British. Oh, I was talking to this. I don't have that problem.
When you try to sound British, but you're not British.
Yeah, that's really what it is. And then you kind of try to be whispery with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't work for me. So
Yeah,
I'm not doing that again.
I don't like that stuff. I don't want to be a prude about it though.
I mean, I have to say, the first person who did it worked. And if you're actually British, it works because it doesn't sound.
Yeah,
like
you're
that.
not trying to sound British.
If you're actually British, it sounds super cool. But,
well, I mean, it's kind of like country music where people are trying to sound Texan.
Yeah, like
there's
Beyonce.
that. Yeah. Oh,
sound...
I never heard that song.
Oh, really?
No. But I heard about her being country. Well, like that dude with the red beard. When people actually heard him speak, they felt betrayed. Do you know the guy with the red beard? That he like had a viral hit where he was like singing on this podcast in the forest.
You told me about this.
Yeah, and it sounds like old world country, but when you heard him talk, he wasn't country at all. He's like from Minnesota or something. I don't know. And so it's fake. It's a put on. He's listened to this music all his life. And I don't think there's a lot wrong with that. That's something like we made what is that?
Bobby Blue. And
Bobby Blue.
That.
Some songs. Yeah, some songs call it out of you. Like I've got an accent in there somewhere.
Yeah,
I grew up in Texas. And some songs pull that out more than others. So I don't blame the guy. He's playing a type of music that pulls that out of him. And he's probably enjoyed and grew up on that kind of music. And so his singing voice is that, Yeah. So, but there is a lot of, the cursive thing. We won't go off on that.
Yeah. It's just not our thing.
No, it's great. Do what you want, But let's, I think we're about done with the Hangout for today. If you're watching now, this is my first time, and I'm turning off. We should do the camera where it's over here, I think.
Yeah.
We're learning stuff like right now.
We are.
Like learning lessons.
We're
learning lessons.
This might be my first time. I got to talk into the mic.
And you got to talk.
I forget about that.
Yeah, and we'll get you a mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really done it. And you learn stuff. Like we put the camera over there, and we're over right here.
There's a camera too.
So bear with us. I'm going to jump on every day, every night, and it might not be long. It might be for a little while. I was going to play some songs, and I played, and my wife said my guitar sounds real garbly. So I don't know what that is. I'm going to mess with that, but let's just for the sake of it, because I know it's going to sound garbly and weird. I think the playback might sound a little bit better, but let's go ahead and play a song just for the sake of it. We're musicians, and all we're doing is sitting here talking about cursive and speaking British. Let's play. We're going to kind of pull back to a very old song from one of my early albums. And I'm not going to play something off this album yet because we have so much in this Campout that you can go and you're going to hear me and Cozy perform a lot of the songs from the album. And so I don't want to give that away just yet.
Yeah.
So we're going to play an older song. Take me with you. Okay. Oops. Got to find mine.
We like to do things on a whim. We just decided 5 minutes before what song we were going to do.
Yeah, we're like, let's do an old one. You know what? Do you know where my capo?
Your capo.
Oh, here it is. It's on my guitar. It's like when my glasses are on my head. Okay. And used to, I sang this song. You're going to sing it this time, and I'll harmonize with you.
If there is no other way, just go, don't stay.
Take me with you to carry. Take me with you. I could be a souvenir. Take me with you. Take me with you where you go from here.
The years are all too soon and too late to ever change these things we do. Your rocket to the moon and my ticket out the gate won't let me through.
Take me with you. I'm not hard to carry. Take me with you. Fold me up and dry your tears. Take me with you. Till not very heavy. Take me with you. Take me with you where you go from here. Where you go from here.
Where you go, you know you've always been. From the deepest of dark to the heart you know again.